Today, I will be debuting a new series on this channel in which I dive into best director streaks. A movie streak being a run of films a director made one after the other that are considered either, good, great, or even the best of all time. These films don't have to be box office hits or even beloved by critics, so cult films are completely fair game. Other criteria that could make the film worthy of the list is if it's, well made on a technical level, or for one reason or another, they're considered iconic. Finally, the movie has to be theatrically released. So TV movies, direct-to-video movies, sorry, those are not going to be included. And if a director has those in their filmography, they'll be skipped over. Let's dive into the world, or should I say the body, of David Cronenberg. That came out wrong. It's Cronenberg time. Starting off, we have The Brood from 1979. His third feature film, The Brood, is a very angry movie about one parent protecting a child from another parent. Though deeper than that, it's about the literal physical manifestations of one's suppressed trauma just lashing out in horribly violent ways. Instead of being treated, the trauma of one of our lead parents is manipulated and shaped literally into monstrous children-like creatures in these old school, snowsuits with the full cap and kind of monocolored, some are red, some are yellow. It's wild. And so what happened is Cronenberg wrote this following a nasty divorce with his ex. And you can see he put a lot of thematic emotion into the film while pairing it with his, signature body horror for this intense and gross third act that shows nobody in the movie is safe. Not even that main child. The parents are quite literally fighting over. For a rating, I would give The Brood 3.5 out of 5 stars, marking it as David Cronenberg's first really good movie. It's not a personal favorite of mine, I'll be honest. That'll come later on this list, but it definitely marks the beginning of this streak. Following on from The Brood, 2 years later, David Cronenberg would release Scanners in 1981. This movie is literally mind-bending and explores, oddly enough, corporate espionage, but also mostly the different powers of mental manipulation. For some positives, this film is, it's memorable for one big scene. It's that opening scene at that conference where a man's head literally explodes in one of the greatest and most shocking uses of practical effects, not only for the time, but even today, looking back. It still holds up in visceral, iconic detail. Dragging this film down, though, it has the gore, it has the imagery, but the story, the characters, in particular, the flat as a board performance by our lead character, whose name I literally can't even remember. That's how unmemorable he is. Brings the film down a bit. With that said, it's worthy of the streak because of its opening and because of that status of iconic 1980s practical gore effects. I would give Scanners from 1981 3 out of 5 stars. And now another 2 years later, following Scanners, David Cronenberg would come out with two incredible films, starting with Videodrome from 1983. And this is video nasty-esque as it dives into the world of snuff films. There's a mind control conspiracy, and honestly, you begin to question reality itself. Delving into techno body horror for the first time on this list. Videodrome combines technology, surrealism, and sex into David Cronenberg's best film up to this point. With an early and thankfully not unbearable performance by James Woods, David Cronenberg, redeems his lack of character in Scanners with an exploration of the relationship between television and the human soul in a profound, deep exploration in that storytelling. So for a rating, once again, making up for Scanners, I would give Videodrome 4 out of 5 stars. Released 8 months after Videodrome, as I said, same year, 1983, David Cronenberg would release one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations in The Dead Zone. This incredible film right there. I'm even looking forward to getting its own release because it completely warrants it. It tells the story of a teacher waking up from a years-long coma that struggles to regain a hold of his life while simultaneously struggling with this precognitive mental ability he gained from that coma that enables him to see the future by touching a person. It has my favorite performance by Christopher Walken, truly iconic and emotional. The film, it's not just entertaining, but honestly heartbreaking by the end. And also on top of that, just offers a fascinating exploration of the choices we make and ends up asking the question, if you could stop the world from ending, would you do it no matter the cost to yourself? And it delivers. My second favorite film, The Dead Zone, by David Cronenberg, I would give it easily 5 out of 5 stars. 3 years after the critical and box office success of The Dead Zone, David Cronenberg would release his arguably most famous and iconic work, The Fly, in 1986. There we go. It's a remake, actually, of the 1958 classic with Vincent Price. I love that film. Have to say, I prefer this one. Cronenberg not only modernizes the setting to a contemporary 1980s, but injects it with every tool he has used up until this point from the previous movies I've mentioned in this streak. There's relationship conflicts, there's body horror, there's the wonders and horrors of scientific advancement. The Fly has everything. Much like The Dead Zone, if not taking it further and much darker, The Fly delivers a tragic romance with an ending that every time I've seen it, I've cried. It's truly impactful the journey that you're taken on with this movie, and how, this seemingly gross at times body horror just leaves you in tears at the end. My favorite film by David Cronenberg, The Fly, much like The Dead Zone, also gets an easy 5 out of 5 stars. Concluding this streak of films, after almost a decade, David Cronenberg would release Dead Ringers in 1988. A much less spoken about work that up until, a few years ago, I myself hadn't even heard of it. But it's no less worthy of the praise or its placement concluding this streak of films. It stars Jeremy Irons in the dual role of identical twin brothers, which, first of all, from a filmmaking point of view, is always incredible how that's able to be captured on film when it's the same actor playing two people. And these two people, these twin brothers, happen to be both gynecologists, and they use their brains and their good looks to not only manipulate all the women around them, but advance their careers in the process. Emotion and eventually substance abuse gets in the way of this lifestyle, leading both brothers into a destructive warpath that ends in living up to his name, revolting, body horror that only Cronenberg can do. It's not a favorite of mine, I will say, but I cannot take away the talent both behind the screen with Cronenberg directing and Jeremy Irons in that great performance. Because of that, Dead Ringers from 1988, I would give a respectable 3.5 out of 5. And there we go. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and the first entry in this series. I thought I'd start with David Cronenberg because while he's not one of my all-time favorite directors, he did give the world two incredible films that I absolutely love in The Dead Zone and The Fly. So I thought, what a perfect director to start this list off with. And, comment down below. Let me know, guys, what director do you think I'm going to cover next in this ongoing series? And whoever, happens to nail it, anybody nails it, I will certainly shout you out in that video. Until then, look forward to another video very soon, or at least much sooner than this one took. I know it took a bit. Sorry about that. But until then, what's your favorite scary movie?